Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into the high-stakes, fast-approaching reality of the 2026 financial world. We're moving past the theoretical stuff and into a landscape where the fundamental mechanics of market leverage are completely shifting. For decades, the financial arms race was all about hardware. But honestly, that era, it's effectively over. The new frontier is entirely data-driven, and it's happening way faster than anyone predicted. If you think the biggest battleground in finance is still about who has the fastest connection to an exchange or the most raw compute power, well, you absolutely need to see what we're unpacking today. We're breaking down Codatta, the provenance layer for autonomous agentic trading. Let's get into it.
So the future has literally already arrived. The financial world recently crossed a definitive threshold. Retail giant Robinhood actually launched its agentic trading beta, and it's operating via the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Essentially, that's the underlying plumbing that allows AI to securely interact with real-world data and execute complex commands. Automated AI allocators that possess the structural power to buy, sell, and rebalance portfolios entirely on their own, yeah, they are no longer some sci-fi luxury. It is our active, current market reality. And just to be clear, we're not talking about simple, hard-coded conditional scripts or those conversational chatbots that just give you polite financial advice. No, we are talking about sovereign, autonomous market makers managing real capital without human intervention, reacting to market conditions in absolute milliseconds.
Okay, let's dive into this because this massive technological leap forces a really critical, high-stakes question. And frankly, it's one that the broader market is just kind of ignoring right now. What data is actually training these autonomous agents? And can you really truly trust it? Think about it. An AI managing real money needs an immense continuous feed of market intelligence, real-time sentiment analysis, macroeconomic risk assessments, complex pattern recognition, the whole shebang. But here's the kicker. If a chatbot hallucinates a historical fact, well, it's mildly funny. If an AI managing real money hallucinates based on spoofed information, your life savings are basically built on sand.
Section 1. The fatal data flaw. Right, so there is a massive contrast between two entirely different AI paradigms here. Traditional AI training methods, like the ones used for general language models, they rely on massive data ingestion. They prioritize sheer quantity, often sacrificing quality. Basically, they can afford to ingest the slop of the internet, the unverified threads, the noise, the automated junk. But autonomous trading agents, they operate in a completely different universe. They demand high-fidelity, verified truth. If a language model makes a mistake, you just click regenerate. If a trading agent acts on unverified dark pool data that might be intentionally manipulated or obfuscated by a competitor, it is a fatal strategy. We're talking costing millions in a fraction of a second.
So this ingest everything approach, it builds into a totally compounding disaster. Just picture this. Step 1. The AI scrapes data of questionable origin. Maybe it's a spoofed sentiment metric or a fake news blast. Step 2. The autonomous agent inherits that exact biased or manipulated signal at scale, treating it as absolute gospel truth. And step 3, in a hyperliquid market, this doesn't just mean a single bad trade. No, it triggers a flash crash and a systematic, catastrophic misallocation of capital. When autonomous agents operate at lightning speed, literally a single bad input can cascade into market-wide panic in milliseconds, causing these massive cascading liquidations before a human operator even has time to blink. So the absolutely crucial point is this. When a significant drawdown or a flash crash actually happens, risk managers, compliance officers, and retail operators absolutely must be able to perform a reverse forensic audit. They need to trace the lineage of the logic all the way backward, from the automated execution, back to the validation, back to the annotation, all the way down to the original data set. Who exactly annotated that data? Was the input signal spoofed by a bad actor? Did the AI just hallucinate a correlation that didn't exist at all? Without a protocol dedicated to answering these exact questions, agentic trading isn't really a financial evolution, it's a terrifying existential risk.
Section 2. The blueprint for trust. Now, this is exactly where infrastructure like Codatta steps in. As AI agents rapidly transition from passive tools to sovereign market makers, the premium in the financial world totally shifts. It's no longer just about raw compute power or building bigger GPU clusters. The premium shifts entirely to verified, unpolluted truth. Codatta serves as this indispensable financial infrastructure, basically providing the absolute structural accountability that the emerging agentic economy desperately needs just to function without collapsing under its own weight.
So what does it do?
Well, the Codatta knowledge layer fundamentally stops treating data as an anonymous commodity. Instead, it operates as a protocol that transforms financial intelligence into a traceable, high-fidelity asset class. And the really key thing here is that it's curated by domain experts, actual seasoned traders, quantitative analysts, and institutional market makers. These contributions aren't just uploaded blindly into some void. They are rigorously secured, vetted, and attached to a verifiable human identity. It bridges that massive gap between raw information and actionable, trusted intelligence.
Section 3. How Codatta secures data. Okay, let's look at the mechanics. The very first structural guardrail is the cryptographic contribution fingerprint, or CF. Think of this like a permanent birth record for every single label, validation, or financial data point. It permanently records exactly who provided the insight and precisely when it occurred, stamping it immutably. This brings absolute, undeniable accountability to the data supply chain. You can literally never have an anonymous, untraceable bad actor dumping polluted signals into the training set because every single piece of data carries the cryptographic DNA of its creator. It's brilliant. But, accountability without consequences is basically meaningless, right? It needs enforcement. And that introduces this critical component, the X and Y token. This is the specific staking token that powers the economic alignment of the entire network. It's the engine that enforces a hard financial penalty mechanism, really making sure that the people providing the data have actual, real skin in the game.
Here's how that token actually works in practice. It relies on a concept called staking as confidence. To prevent manipulation, knowledge contributors and their backers must stake those X and Y tokens directly on the accuracy of their data. They are literally putting their money where their data is. If they provide misaligned inputs, sloppy analysis, or fraudulent signals, boom, it results in slashing events. Simply put, they lose their capital. It flawlessly aligns economic incentives to prevent any manipulation of the data feed, just because lying simply becomes way too expensive to be profitable. So just to quickly summarize these 3 structural guardrails, we've got cryptographic contribution fingerprints, staking as confidence, and transparent lineage. Together, they allow any AI agent, or any human auditor for that matter, to walk a dataset completely backward. Every automated execution maps directly to a verified, financially staked human source. This completely reframes the relationship between humans and AI in finance. It shifts humans from being just manual operators to becoming the ultimate, highly compensated verifiers of truth.
Section 4. Owning the supply chain.
Now, because autonomous agents desperately need this proven pedigree of truth, the royalty engine turns human expertise into a permanent yield-generating asset. When a trading agent uses an assetized dataset from the Codatta network to optimize its strategy or execute a trade, this royalty engine automatically triggers deterministic payouts right back to the original human contributors and verifiers. So you're no longer just giving away your insights to train an AI for free. You are structurally owning a piece of the intelligence supply chain and earning a residual yield for your accuracy. How cool is that? And hey, this isn't just some theoretical white paper stuff. The source material highlights a really concrete, real-world application, the Codatta OTC rewards video. This specifically shows how the platform turns institutional address identification in complex market flows into incentivized, verified intelligence. It demonstrates exactly how this high-fidelity data is gathered and verified for downstream AI applications, directly rewarding the market experts who put in the work to identify it. It proves that the system is already functioning and creating tangible value right now, today. Which really leads us to this incredibly powerful quote from the sources. The ultimate leverage in the 2026 economy doesn't belong to the platforms executing the trades or the companies manufacturing the chips. It belongs to the gatekeepers of the truth. That is just a mic drop moment, honestly. It brings our entire explainer completely full circle. As financial markets become fully automated through artificial intelligence, human intelligence and the rigorous verification of truth actually remain the ultimate, most valuable asset class in the entire world. The infrastructure is already here, folks. The shift toward absolute automation is happening right now, way faster than most institutions are even prepared for. So the only real question left is, are you ready to stop just observing and start actually participating? You can visit app.codatta.io to deploy your market insights and begin owning the foundational fuel of this new agentic economy. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we'll catch you next time as we continue to break down the systems shaping our world. See ya!